What's going on YouTube? This is James from Team Triforce. Today I'm here to talk about the Dragon Ball Z Super Set 1 blue element color, whatever you want to call it. So this is the deck that I've done the most testing with, and which I think I'm going to play in some form in the competitive scene for this game. So let me go ahead and get started, and we'll give you my opinions and thoughts on a lot of the blue cards that will be coming out shortly. So first we'll start with the leaders, and we'll start with my favorite first. This is Beerus. He is a very strong leader. He is a 10,000, and his effect is when you have 3 or more energy, when he attacks, I get to destroy a battle card with 2 or less on my opponent's field. So every turn when you attack with him, you're killing a 2 or less. So you really don't have to have other battle cards to focus on their smaller battle cards, because Beerus will just attack and eat them right away. And since this is an auto ability, it will go off if they declare before they declare a blocker, and even if they negate the attack, I still eat the card because autos resolve as soon as the conditions are met. So I attack, I say eat your card, and if it was a blocker, they can't activate it because it's already KO'd. So very, very strong. Fits in with a lot of the synergy with cards in blue and green that kill cards. I'm using him in my blue-green deck as my leader, and the deck is really good. It just eats all of their cards, and they really have to focus on just attacking my leader or saving resources, because they know if they play the card that it's going to get destroyed at some point on their next turn. So it's very good. And when he awakens, of course, like any other leader, he draws 2 cards. And he is a 15,000 when he awakens. And his auto ability is when he attacks, I draw a card and I kill something on my opponent's board with 3 or less. So basically, when he attacks unawakened, he kills 2 or lesses. When he attacks awakened, he kills 3 or lesses and draws a card. He also has another effect, activate main, tap 16 energy and you win the game. I don't think that'll ever happen. And even in an energy ramp deck, I have never seen. Next we're going to talk about the starter deck Goku. So his effect is, he's 10,000 when he's unawakened. His effect is auto. When he attacks, I get to ready up one of my energies in rest mode and change it to active. So if I play a card, and I tap an energy to play something, I can swing with him and ready up the energy. So if I exhaust all of my energy to play something and I attack with him to ready something up, I have something like a negate or an energy to combo with something a little later, which is very good. It's a very strong card if you want to play a lot of battle cards. And when he awakens, of course, he draws 2 cards. As his permanent ability is if I have 5 or more energy, he gains 5,000 during my turn. So he'll become a 20. And his effect is auto. When I attack, draw a card and ready up 2 energy. So later in the game, you can be playing a lot of cards, more than your opponent, just because you can ready up 2 of your energy after you've used them to play something big. So very strong leader. I played him for a while. I do like him in a mono blue deck. But in when you splash elements, you have a lot more choices, and I don't think he fits in, at least the way I'm playing blue-green. He doesn't seem to fit, but like I said, in the future, who knows? All right. Next is the promo Goku from the set. He says auto, when he attacks, he gains 1,000 for each energy you have, so he can get pretty strong. I haven't tested him yet, but from what I've heard, he's pretty decent. And of course, when he awakens, he draws 2. And when he's awakened, he's 1,500. And when I have 7 or more energy, he gains dual attack. And once per turn, when I attack, I get to draw a card and gain 1,000 for every energy. So and it's for the duration of the turn. So he has dual attack, and he keeps the boost. So he can get beefy. You have to have a deck that's stronger early game, because you don't have effects like these two do to keep you in the game, you really have to just rely on your other cards. With him, he's strong late game as long as you can manage early game. So that's promo Goku. Next is Vegeta. I have not tested this Vegeta yet. I do plan to in the future. His effect is activate main once per turn. I choose one of my cards in my life area and move it to my hand, and he gains critical for the turn. So basically, you're hurting yourself to give him critical, and it's good, but you need to know when to activate it, because if not, you're just really hurting yourself. And when he awakens, of course, you draw your 2 cards. And his effect is basically the same when he awakens. But he also has the effect, if you have 7 or more energy, he gains 10,000. So it's pretty decent. The good thing about this card, which I like, and I'll talk about this a little more later, but there's certain points in the game where you need to hurt yourself to awaken, where you get low on resources and your opponent realizes that. They'll hold off on their attacks just to keep you at bay. And having something in the deck, either Vegeta or a battle card, to hurt yourself, to either discard an energy or move it to your hand, anything to get that count to 4 so you can awaken, is very strong, because there's a lot of times where they'll notice you're running low on resources and they just won't attack. So you're really relying on what you have in your hand to fend them off and what you're top decking into. And of course, at some point they'll have to attack you, but a lot of times they'll wait until they're ready to let you awaken, and when they can handle it. Because your opponent can gain advantage really quick if you keep attacking them, especially in decks like Yellow with Frieza. If you let them, they already have enough advantage with cards on the field and in the hand, and if you keep attacking them, I mean, I've seen in a Yellow deck, the player can have anywhere between 10 to 15 cards in their hand. So you have to be careful with that, and with Vegeta and other cards that hurt yourself. There are times and places for them, and it's something I do like having options with. All right, so those are the 4 leaders in blue. Now we'll start talking about the battle cards. So we'll start with the 1-drops, or the 1 costs. All right. So we'll start with Goku. Goku is probably my favorite out of the bunch. Probably a tie with Boo. But he looks at the top 7 cards for a blue Goku and moves it to your hand. So he gets you all of your evolve cards, or any blue Goku in the deck, including himself. So it really keeps a card advantage. And if you're playing this card right, you should almost always hit something. So next we'll talk about Majin Buu. When you play him, he draws a card. So he's a 1-for-1, and you have something on the board to combo with for a cost of 1 energy. I can play this card on turn 0, on turn 10. Any point in the game, this card is strong. So definitely a 4 of anything that plays blue. Then we'll look at Bulma God Tempter. This card I would only play if you rely on getting the turn 4 Whis that gives you energy. Other than that, I don't think it's good. But in certain cases, certain decks, it's a good, I say 2 to 4 of. Now we'll talk about North Kai. For my opinion on blockers in this game, at least in blue, green, and yellow, the turn 1, the one cost blockers are the best, because they cost very little and they're like a preemptive negate. So you can play it and your opponent will have to play around it or find a way to kill it if they want their strong attacks to go through. And I think the 1 costs are the best because they cost the least. And I would play this as a 4 of in anything blue, as long as I don't have too many blockers in the deck already. The numbers that I think I've settled on is anywhere between 4 to 6. Sometimes 8 depending on the deck, but I think 4 to 6 is the sweet spot, because if you're already playing 4 negates, 6 negates, depending on which deck you're playing, you may not need too many blockers. But I do like this card a lot, as well as any of the other 1-cost blockers. All right, so now we'll move on to 2-cost cards. All right, so my favorite by far, and there's one of these in every element, is your 0-cost 10,000 combos. So their effect is auto. When you have 4 or less life, play this card in the combo area and you draw a card, and this card gains 10,000 for the duration of the combo. A lot of people have been playing this card with the ruling your card you comboed with, so say I comboed into Piccolo with this Piccolo, a lot of people were playing it as the card that you were comboing with would keep the 10,000 for the turn. That's not the correct ruling. It's the card itself, since it's 0, it gains 10,000, so you don't keep the power for the turn, which is fair. Still 4 of and anything. They make 1 of these for each element. Great card. And this Piccolo he's a 2-cost blocker. Again, not a huge fan of 2-cost blockers. In certain decks you need to play them, but I would try to avoid it if possible. Just my opinion on them. And then we have our vanilla turn 2s, or 2 costs. They're both 1500, very strong statted, and right now it doesn't matter with names, but in the future we may need to have names Trunks or Goten, so you'll have them in blue. All right, moving on to 3s. Some of these are proxy because they're not out yet, so forgive the flimsiness of some of them. This one's by far my favorite. This one's from the starter deck. He evolves over the little Goku on turn 2 with his evolve cost, and he readies something up. So he's a 1500 on turn 2, and he leaves you with an energy. I think this is a 4 of, as well as the turn 1 Goku in any blue deck, because even just the 2 of them alone is great synergy, and that's 7 possible targets, not counting the 1 Goku you played. So you have a pretty good chance of hitting it. So I would play this as a 4 of, very strong. And Assailant Vegeta, he is a critical. I like him in certain blue decks, or the critical blue deck, he's a 4 of by far. If not, he's a 2 to 3 of. He's good status for turn 3, and he has critical. So a lot of times they'll kill this card, they'll stop its attack, it makes them waste cards. Or you can play cards to make sure you get the effect off. Depends on the situation. Vanilla turn 3 Vegeta, not a fan. I think Assailant Vegeta with critical is so much stronger in almost every situation. So I think a lot of budget players might play this card. It comes in the set even. So if you don't have access to a lot of things, maybe some people will play this. Or if you're just trying to get bigger numbers, but I think the other one is leaps and bounds better. So now we're going to talk about this card. I don't think this card should ever be played on the board. I mean, he is decent stats, but his effect is when you combo with him, you get to send one of your opponent's cards they combo with back to their hand. So they don't see it coming most of the time, so you can guarantee you win a battle. I do like it as a 3 to 4 of in some decks. But yeah, he's very strong, and I think we'll see him in other things than just blue. Yeah, very good. Now we'll move on to 4s. A lot of good 4s for blue. All of them are good. But by far my favorite is Beerus. Beerus is double strike and auto. His auto effect is if you have 5 or more energy when you play him, I get to just kill one of my opponent's cards on the board. So he eats anything. And he's 20,000 with double strike. Cannot go wrong with this card. Definitely a 3 to 4 of, and anything blue. Another good one is Gohan. Gohan is double strike with 2,500 attack. This card is just beefy with double strike. If you attack and you throw a 5-10 combo to make him either a 30 or a 35, they have to eat a lot of cards out of their hand to stop that double strike. Very good if you play an energy ramp deck and you can get him out earlier. Even better, because they'll be less prepared for it. And now we have the Super Saiyan Blue Goku. He is a 1500 with critical, and if you have 5 or more energy, he gains 10,000 power, only during your turn. But he can be a 25,000 with critical. Again, if you throw a small or big combo on it, it's harder for them to stop. And he's a Blue Goku, so he can be searched with the 1 cost. Very good. I like him as usually a 2 of, but if I'm playing a critical deck, definitely a 4 of. Now, Whis, the Resting Attendant. Mixed feelings about this card. It's good for what it does. What it does is when you play him, you add 1 card from the top of your deck into the energy zone. So basically, he gives you an energy. You play him on your 4, you get a card, so you got 5 energy, and then on your 6, you charge 1, so you're basically getting a turn ahead. It is good, but he is a hefty 4 cost for 10,000, and most of the times on turn 4, he's not that strong. You're really just playing him for the effect. I do like it, but it has to be in a deck that needs that speed. If not, then there's a lot better fours to play in blue. But I do like this card in certain situations. Now we're going to move on to 5s. All right. So we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. He is Evolve 4 cost. He is Double Strike. When you evolve into the card, he gains Dual Attack. If you can evolve off this card, he is a Dual Attack with 20,000. It's very strong if you're playing the mono blue deck that revolves off of Evolving Goku. I wouldn't play this in anything that splashes blue, but on a mono blue deck, he is a good 2 of. All right, let's talk about this card. This card is very, very strong. He is a 5 cost. He requires 3 blue, which makes him a little harder to get into. But if you evolve off of him, it's only a 4 cost with 2 blue. So you can do it in certain decks. I would still only play this in a mono blue deck, but very good nonetheless. Double Strike, when you play this card, draw 2 cards. So it gives you a lot of hand advantage when you play this. And he's also a good attacker. So definitely I would say 2 to 4 of, depending on your build. Definitely 2, minimum of 2. On to 6s. First up, we have Guard Charge Vegeta. He is 6 cost, requires 3, evolves for 5, requires 3 blue. Dual Attack critical. Not much more to say. Dual Attack critical, 25,000 attack. His evolve effect is you return 1 blocker to the hand. Very good, strong. Nothing much I can say about this card other than it's good. I mean, it's got 2 very good mechanic effects, which is dual attack and critical. It's great. Probably only play it as a 1 or 2 of, but it's good. Now we have the Promo Vegeta. This is going to be coming in the special pack. He is Triple Strike, so he deals 3 damage. And his effect is if you have 7 or more energy, you can evolve over Vegeta for free. So if you have an Assailant Vegeta, or even if you're playing like green or something and you have a green Vegeta, you can evolve over it for free. You can play this in any deck because it doesn't cost anything, for the evolve at least. If not, it's 6 cost with 2 blue. So it's good. I would definitely play it in the Vegeta critical deck when you're playing a lot of Vegetas anyway. Very good. Now we have God Rush Son Goku. He is 6 cost, 3 blue requirement. He evolves for 5 with 3 blue requirement. Dual attack, auto, when you play this card, return all blockers to the hand. So I've had cases where my opponent is trying to stall me out and they'll have 2 to 3 blockers on board. And you drop this guy, if they don't have a negate, it's over for them. It returns them all to the hand. And at that point, you just swing for game. I do like this as a 1 to 2 of in a regular blue deck. I wouldn't play it in a splash deck because it requires 3 blue, but if you're playing a regular blue deck, it's definitely a 1 to 2 of. If you're playing the Evolve build, I would play 3, maybe 4, but very strong altogether. Now we'll talk about the 2/7 drops. Both very strong. I think this is the strongest effect in the game. It is a little bit balanced because of its turn cost, but it's very strong. It's triple strike, auto. When he attacks a leader, your opponent has to discard 2 cards out of their hand. If they choose not to, you discard all of their battle cards and all of their energy. And he's 25,000 with triple strike. So you play this card and they have to get around it. If they don't get around it, within 1 to 2 turns, their energy is gone. Very, very strong. Definitely a 3 of. The last 7 drop, and the last second to last battle card in blue is God Break Son Goku. This card is a super rare. It's also coming as I think they're calling it special rare. And he's a 7 cost, requires 3 blue. He evolves for 6 with 3 blue. Double strike, permanent. He cannot, when he attacks, your opponent cannot play counter cards and they cannot activate blockers when he attacks. So basically he's unstoppable. I'm coming at you with a 30,000 plus my combos and you can't do anything other than combo. So he can definitely end games because a lot of times people hold their negates, hold their blockers until they need to play them, and you come at them with this and they really don't have anything for you. It's very, very good. I would probably play it as a 1 of, maybe 2. If you're playing the Evolve build, I would possibly play more because you can search it, but very strong. The last is a 12 cost Whis. I don't think this card will see play, at least with this set, maybe in the future. He costs 12 with 6 blue cost. I mean, the effect is crazy, but good luck getting it out. Quadruple strike, permanent. When he attacks, his attack cannot be negated. And when he attacks a leader card, and your leader, when he attacks, or when you play this card and your leader is Beerus, you gain an additional turn after this one. So I've never seen it played. Don't think you can ever get it out. But, keep 1 or 2 just in case in the future. Never know. Now we're going to go on to the extra cards. All right. Show these all in frame for you. All right. Whis' Coercion. This is your negate in the deck. The best negate in the game. It negates attack and raise an energy. So you basically play it for free. Can't say anything more about this card. It's a 4 of in any deck that plays blue or splashes blue. Mamonka. Activate during the main phase. Draw a card. Your leader gains double strike. You go even with this card, and you gain double strike. So a lot of the times they'll play cards to stop your leader. Good 2 of. I like it a lot. Senzu Bean. Activate during the battle. I choose one of my cards. It gains 5,000, and I ready up 2 of my energies. I think this card is strong in energy ramp decks. It's also a good pump for the turn. It's 5,000 for the turn, not just the combo phase. So that makes your guy, if they're attacking you into your leader, they have to get 5,000 over. I like it. I don't know if I'll play it, but in certain decks, I think it's definitely useful. Objection. This is for an energy ramp deck. It's a 2 cost. Take 1 card from your hand and put it to your energy area. So You're only losing 1 energy, but you're losing 2 cards from your hand. Definitely good in a deck that's trying to gain speed. Definitely a 4 of in that kind of deck. I wouldn't play it in anything that doesn't need speed, because then you're just wasting resources. The last card. This is very interesting card. It's a 5 cost with 2 blue. You evolve your leader, and you ready up 4 energy. So you can play this at any point once you have the cost, and just flip over your leader and draw 2 cards and gain your good effect. It's a very good one of, I would say. And I was actually testing it with some buddies, and I put it as a one of. In the first game, we hit it, and it changed the game. I do like it as a one of. I would say in a mono blue deck, or in any blue deck where you really need to rely on your leader's effect.